Drink it in, man.
Deep left side carry on. Picks on the block. At the 5. At the 2. At the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Cornbread! I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, Detroit Koolaid drinkers, the Detroit Koolaid, as Grifka often says on his solo shows. What's going on, everybody? It's Friday. This is your host, Derek Oakley, right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast coming at you. And, man, there's a lot going on with the Detroit Lions. We're recording a little bit early here this week, so we had the GM presser. We got the coach introduced. We're going to get into some different things here on a Friday, but appreciate everybody listening. If you didn't hear our show on Wednesday, go back and listen to Logan Lamorandier from Sports Illustrated All Lions, bringing all types of knowledge. I tried to get him all riled up. He's unsure of what to think about everything that's going on, but we're all hopeful. And it's Friday. It's Grifka's favorite day of the week. I mean, he's the star of the show. Just ask him, everybody. The one and only, at Grifka DKC on Twitter. Grifka, Waffle Maker, how are you, buddy?
Oh, man, you know me. It's Friday. Like you said, it's my favorite day, so I'm doing good. Especially going into this weekend, man. It's playoff weekend. It was the championship, for each conference. So it's going to be a couple good football games. I mean, so once again, it's going to be chilly outside. That means, get a lot of food, watch those games on Sunday. And everybody, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Unbelievable. Grifka, you hit all the marks. Now, the mark I don't want you to hit is here on a Friday to just, I don't know, you seem to have a couple decent questions to Logan on Wednesday, even though you kind of put me to sleep because it's just the same old basic stuff where I'm trying to ask the off-the-wall question with a little bit of gusto behind it. Don't pull one of those questions out of your bag here on a Friday that just, gets the show off to a bad start. You get me all riled up. I mean, I'm trying to just talk some football, be calm here on a Friday for the people. What do you got this week?
Man, it's been such a long time since I've been able to get you riled up on a Friday with my question.
No.
That's what the first thought, especially since your boy came out with a statement saying how he couldn't even step foot in Allen Park. So when I read that highlight, I'm like, what? Does that mean security is going to force him out? Or is he just so mad at the organization? Man, what'd you think when you read that?
First of all, Grifka, I mean, who's this my boy that you're referencing? I'm confused with this question.
Oh, it's Calvin. Calvin had to make a statement. It's been a while since we heard from him. It's been a good, 3 weeks since he put out a statement bashing the Lions, so it was time again.
Is that Calvin? What's the last name? Is that Quitter? Is that the last name, or did he have a government?
Could be, but I believe it's Johnson is what the back of the jersey said.
A.K.A. Dave Burkett's boy is who you're referencing.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes. Right. I've heard of this guy. He kind of like Barry used to. He comes out of his hovel, a couple times a year. And like you said, unlike Barry, who then would come up through the ground like the groundhog and then go away, Calvin seems to pop up, bash the Lions, and then go away as well. So, I mean, you can't really get me too riled. Everyone's heard my Calvin rants. He had some interview a while back where it seemed like, I didn't listen to very much of it. I think it was the Glover Quinn show. And it was he seemed all right, So I didn't even hear these comments. But what was the quote you gave me? Something about not being welcome in the building. Is that what you said?
He said that he couldn't even step foot into Allen Park.
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, okay, now you maybe did get me riled up. First of all, when the team pays you $100-some million and then you quit on them and walk away and then complain over a couple $1,000,000 over and over and over again, why would you want to return, first and foremost? What are you going to come and pass out Christmas cards that say, P.S. at the bottom, where's my $2 million? I mean, is that what you're going to do? Second of all, Rod Wood is just too clueless to some degree to go get this figured out with one of our best players. I feel like the fan base is kind of split. Some people just love him for the touchdowns and the things he did, and other people are like me. They just sort of say, yeah, for those first 6 years, he's a good football player. And then to just walk away based on finger, hand, a couple leg injuries or whatever is just seemed disrespectful to everybody else. So, I mean, first of all, why would he want to come back except try to, shake down the accounting guy to get his money back? I mean, I don't see him doing anything else out there other than talking about this money that he's owed, disregarding the $100+ million that he was given for his accolades on the football field. I mean, we gotta continue to talk about the little bit that was asked to be paid back. And I'm at the point, Grifka, where just like, even if you paid the money back, you told Calvin it's water on the bridge, let's be buddies, let's handshake it out. What's he gonna do for the team? I mean, people keep saying like he's gonna come back and be some amazing like coach for the wide receivers, and he's going to be a mentor. Do you see Calvin doing that at all, Grifka, before I continue my rant? No, of course you don't.
No,
you don't even need to answer.
I don't see him at practice.
No. Well, so you're going to pay him his money back. You're going to make him all fuzzy and happy. And then what's he going to do? He's going to come back, wear the alumni jersey, go out in the middle of the Ford field, wave, and then get the hell out of there, right? That's all he's going to do. I mean, what's he going to do? A couple Ford commercials? Wow, congratulations. Just add him to that list, the guys that are doing the Ford bits. Like, this is just gotta stop. I mean, and to me, it doesn't stop with everybody make it right anymore. It just stops with, all right, Calvin, we're keeping your money, and just go away. Like, don't talk about us anymore. We don't need you at the family functions. It just doesn't matter, because he isn't going to impact the bottom line that much. Even if you pay him back, he's not going to be this glowing ambassador. He's just going to be a player that'll put in the minimum of what he's supposed to do. Maybe not bash the team every time Dave Burkett talks to him every 365, and that'll be it. So the Lions don't need the money, neither does Calvin Johnson, but if you give him the money and you give him a good bro hug, you're not going to get much out of it. It's just going to be, finally, we're done with this, but you'll be giving in. So I'm almost with the Lions. Just keep the money, keep your stance that, hey, if you quit on our team and you walk away with money that was not earned or not accumulated, then we're going to keep that. If you outperform your contracts year after year, if you're a staple for the organization, if you play your heart out and you leave everything on the football field, we'll be glad to not only pay you every cent, but we'll bring you back and pay you handsomely to do so, as they've done for others in the organization, and we will love to have you part of the family. So that's my hot take. That's my half rant, Griff, because I'm tired of just bashing this guy, but I'm tired of him bashing our organization, our team. I mean, why does he even want back in Allen Park? I don't understand. Like I said, other than to check the accounting department to see if his old check came back. He didn't get it in the mail yet or something. Other than that, it's just not going to do much for the team. I wish this would go away. It continues to not go away. But hey, like I say, look at the track record. What have the Lions said bad about Calvin Johnson? Nothing. They just continue to, praise him and say he's a great player and this, that, and the other. And he continues to just beat up the team, bring up the same topic, make it an issue. And they just continue to take the high road on it. So, there it is. I'll just leave it there. People can decide for themselves. If you love Calvin Johnson, congratulations. Like, he was a great player at times during his career, one of the best for a 4 or 5 year stint. And then he was a beat up, overpaid wide receiver towards the end as well. And people still loved him, and he still was one of the better players on the Detroit Lions. But like I say, he quit on the team. He walked away, and the Lions did what they wanted to do at that time. And both parties are kind of standing pat. So that's where I'm at, is I'm going to stand pat on my stance that I feel like I just don't feel like he loved football, didn't love the team. I love the team. I love this organization, and I'm always going to kind of stand with the organization and not worry about a couple million when you weren't the punter, the gunner on the punt team, Calvin. You didn't get paid $2 million your whole career, and then they took one from you. You made hundreds of millions of dollars on and off the field, and they took a couple away, boo-hoo type of thing. So there it is, Grifka. You got me stirred up. You got a half Oakley rant. The people are probably either laughing, rolling their eyes, or yelling at their phone because they're just fired up at me, but it's all good. It is what it is.
Yeah, I have to. One thing I will have to admit is I have to agree with you, Derek, on what the Lions have done, have taken the high road. It kind of puts them in a no-win situation. I mean, people are going to be like, well, give him his money. He did so much for the team. Just why do you got to do that? But for, like you said, for as much as Calvin Johnson has been, just putting his digs in on the Detroit Lions, if they were to fight back and, come back and say something, that would look even worse than just kind of at least, continue to say, hey, he's a great player. We wish to have him around, come back. So they're at least doing that right. So I will agree with you on that. I do like what they're doing with that. So
yeah, we'll see if it ever gets resolved. If it doesn't, it's not been a huge issue for anybody other than number 81 the past 5-6 years, in my opinion. I don't see fans clamoring. I don't see me and you bringing it up, except for when you try to rile me up or when he talks about it every, 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 times a year. It feels like now it's increasing. At first it was once every blue moon. Now it's every time we look up.
Yeah. Next question for you. I mean, maybe go a little deeper on this for you. I know, I mean, you, as we proclaim, you're the GM of the show. You like doing, the draft is coming up through that, and you like to build your teams through the draft. But there are a number of good, potential free agents out there, before, people, was it they, franchise tag them or something like that. So any of the potential free agents out there, I mean, I saw you did a tweet of possible Baltimore Ravens that you'd like to see on the team. Any other players out there, besides Ravens, like what Ngakoue was on there, Matt Judon was on there. Anybody else you'd like to maybe see the Lions make a play for, even with their limited salary cap?
Grifka, it's a great question. It's one of my favorite questions you've ever asked me. We should have started the show with this rather than, that rambling stuff I had to go off on for no reason. But Grifka, here's the thing. You're catching me a little bit unprepared here. I'm working the draft room. I got all my rankings up over the last week here at DTO Scouting. I would ask you how Lazy Boy Scouting is going, but I'm pretty sure I know. I am starting to work on free agents, so I worked a little bit backwards, but I got my free agent labels are going up. I'm trying to figure them out. But yeah, I put out a couple tweets because to me, there was a lot of great players on that Ravens list, as well as, gosh, what a nice little piece like a Gus Edwards would be to this team. Kind of that mid-level guy that just needs more opportunity and seems to always produce when he's out there. Judon, has been a great ball player coming out of Grand Valley. Was a guy in that draft. Everybody was like, man, this Judon kid's going to be good. Sure enough, he's been a great player. So, I mean, when you're talking about names, I do have a few here that I could give you. I targeted just a few guys that I wrote down a while back now, kind of just trying to get a feel for who would be out there and what. So there's been some talk on Twitter about Allen Robinson maybe being that big receiver. He's got some Detroit, Michigan ties, maybe coming back and being that Kenny replacement if you wanted to pay him a decent chunk of money at receiver, depending on what else they do. I doubt this guy's getting out of Pittsburgh, but Bud Dupree has become a really good rusher, and that would be a nice outside backer rush player if they could lure him to a team like the Lions. Desmond King has always been one of my favorites. He started out as a safety. He's kind of like that slot corner now. He got traded from the Chargers to, I think he was with the Titans there towards the end of the year, really balling out, playing good. So I would love to see him in a Lions uniform. Let's see who else they got here. They kind of address their O-line, so I put my emphasis on like receivers. I know Eric Schlitt from Lions Wires talked about Reynolds, the kid out from the LA Rams, only 26 years old. He's never really made any money, never really had an opportunity out there. That might be somebody to look at again at wide receiver. Dalvin Tomlinson, the big defensive tackle, is going to be a free agent from the Giants. I mean, again, doubt some of these guys get away from their teams, but if they're going to be out there, Ridgeway again, I think he's with the Steelers as well. Another nice defensive tackle that I liked in the draft. So, I mean, there's players out there. I'll have a better answer for you later, but I think that free agency to me is such a supplement of the draft. It's like a way to find those up-and-coming guys that, yeah, you'll pay them more, but you're not going to break the bank for them. And then once you sign them, hope that they just blossom into these studs, whereas the draft is like where you pluck out a guy and, yeah, maybe you have to have a year or so of patience, but that's where you're just picking guys that could be your cornerstone players. I'm not getting many cornerstone guys in free agency based on the dollars and cents, which we always talk about and break down on this show because it's so important. You know, some of those guys I mentioned are high ticket guys, and other ones are, you got to have that keen eye and find the guy that's coming up. And I know you said I'm the GM of the show. Grifka, don't try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. Benny Blades deemed me the GM of the show on BLEAV and Lions, the Believe in Lions podcast. You never gave me any credit on this show. All you wanted to do the first 2 years was fight me tooth and nail about every little thing about the draft, and I didn't know anything, and you know, what could I tell you? And now you're giving me credit because Benny knows what's up. Benny knows that, yeah, he's the player, he's the hitter, he's the enforcer of the group, but yeah, I'm the guy putting together the squad. I'm trying to figure out how we going to make this team work and put the talent out there. So, I mean, I know you acknowledge it sort of now, but I mean, that's because Benny Blades is your boy, and now you're trying to give me a little backhanded credit. So, I mean, I'll still take it. Don't get me wrong. I'll still take the credit because, I mean, right is right, wrong is wrong. But I remember those shows a year and a half ago where you're just yelling at me here on the podcast. So, there you go.
Yeah, something like that. I guess my biggest thing is with free agency. I know it happens simply when there's coaching turnover and change. You tend to go to the well that you know with players you know. But as long as we don't turn into, you know, the Detroit Saints or the Detroit Rams where we're picking up, you know, fourth string guys on the team because they know the system that you run and they never touch the field down there. But, you know, since they know your offensive scheme or defensive scheme, you know, they automatically have to become starters on your new team because you know them. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen here. If you are going to take players from your former, you know, teams that you were with, at least make them, you know, guys that are going to be, and you said cornerstones, at least, you know, impact players somewhat more so than somebody that's like, oh, they know what I run, so I trust this guy, because we tend to see that happen a lot here in Detroit, and they tend to be disappointments. So let's hope that doesn't go that way.
This is a rarity on the show. I agree with you, and that's a great point, because I was thinking about it the other day. If you think about it, since when I became basically, let's ignore my first few years of Lions fandom, but since then, we were the Tampa Bay Lions, and then we became like the New England Lions, and we were also the San Francisco 40 Lions, you know. So it's like I'm totally ready to just shed all that and just be I want to be an exciting, bold, aggressive, fast, nasty, hard-working Detroit Lions football team based on homegrown talent, strike on a couple free agents, make a couple big-time trades, and start putting up these things Grifka called W's. That's what I want. Like, I just want it to be our team, not some mold of what was good 3 years ago. Because if you notice, with the track record I just ran, we're always 3 to 5 years late. Tampa Bay was balling back when they won a Super Bowl. When we got all their people, horrible. 49ers, dynasty, the top organization in football until we got Moochie, and then there was nothing. Oh, man, the Patriots are just the greatest dynasty of all time until they came up to Detroit, and they fell apart with this old scheme and big old slow linebackers that never worked. Like, we just gotta, I agree with you. We have to get away from that. I don't want to see Saints and Rams everywhere. Now, if you go get a Rams player that's young, talented, and give him a good contract, I'm also not going to beat it up. But Grifka, I have a question for you. I know you like to hammer me here on the Friday show. You like stir me up, like do all this. Let me throw this at you. How about this hold on. I actually need some music for this. Grifka, I have a conspiracy theory for you with the Brad Holmes hire. Because he wasn't willing to commit to Matt Stafford, the LA Rams may need a quarterback. They seem ready at other positions. Could Brad Holmes work out a deal with his former team to trade Matt Stafford to the Rams and then hopefully move Jared Goff somewhere other than Detroit and make that contract swap, turn over our whole organization? Because you know the Rams give away first-round picks like candy. We just say, give us a first and a third and maybe something else down the road. We'll give you Stafford and a couple other people that we don't want. We'll call it good. What do you think about this conspiracy theory, Grifka, that Brad Holmes could be secretly sent by the Rams to send the Rams a much better quarterback, and thus so the Lions get boatloads of draft capital and salary cap room.
Wow, man, that's deeper than what I was even thinking. But, jeez, I love the way that sounds, man. That would be great because, both me and you on a prior show agreed that it was time to move on from Matt Stafford. So, yes, that sounds nice. Or maybe, it could be they brought in Dan Campbell because we all know what Drew Brees was going to do. And they're not sold on Taysom Hill to be their starter. He's a gadget guy, and everybody knows famous Jameis ain't going to do anything. So maybe they trade Stafford down there because they still have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. They just need another quarterback to get him the ball. Hey, possibly.
Oh, my goodness, Grifka. The only way the Saints one holds up is if we were just willing to get a Taysom Hill and some draft capital back and we just rolled him out as this gritty quarterback. But like you said, you've always hated Jameis Winston. I think he's okay. I don't know why they would continue to invest in those two guys and then go trump it with a Matt Stafford trade. So I got to debunk the Saints. The Rams one is a pipe dream, but gosh, would that be sweet if it was like a inside deal and it's been in the works and it helps out Stafford. It sends him to a team that might have a couple more years to get it done, and it helps the Lions and they help out their boy Brad Holmes. Let's get those two parties together. Let's get Les and Brad Holmes together and let's make some magic happen. Okay, people, let's do that. You heard it here
it's time
first.
to get a nice cauldron of stuff working here that's popping. It's good thinking there, Terry. Gosh,
no doubt. We'll see.
Okay, let's do this. Let's take a break. Let the people, marinate on that thought for a second as they listen to our sponsors and pay some bills and come back.
Just soak that music in, people. Think about what could be in the works that we don't know with the Detroit Lions. While you do that, check out our great sponsors here on the show. Everybody, we'll be right back.
Allstate wants to remind fans that mayhem is everywhere. Like when your fantasy league meets up at your house. Everything's great until the hot plate gets too hot for the tablecloth. Now your kitchen's up in smoke. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, the cost to fix this is anything but a fantasy. So switch to Allstate, save money, and get protected from mayhem like this. Not available in every state based on coverage selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Derek Oakrey of the Detroit Koolaid Cast, and this is normally where I tell you about some of our great sponsors. But today, I want to tell you about my other Lions podcast. It's called Believe in Lions, and that's spelled BLEAV on the Believe Podcasting Network with both myself and Lions legendary safety, Benny Blades. Yeah, you know who he is, the hard-hitting safety. Benny Blades played for the Lions. He also played for the U. You know what it is, the University of Miami, those Miami Hurricanes. He mentions it multiple times on the show. Benny loves to talk about his Hurricanes, his Lions, and I love to play this soundbite on the show. We have a ton of fun on that show. We laugh, we joke, we talk Lions. Like I said, he brings up the Hurricanes. I talk about my Michigan Wolverines. It's a really fun show. Benny loves the Lions. He tells great stories from his playing days, as well as we're just rooting on this team. We BLEAV in the Lions. So please go ahead, find it on your favorite podcast platform. Hit that subscribe button and check it out. Share it with a friend. We really appreciate it. So check out Believe, BLEAV in Lions with myself and Benny Blades. Thank you guys so much. Detroit Koolaid, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to our sponsors. We got Anchor Podcasts back in the mix there. Go check them out if you want to start your own show, or just obviously subscribe to our show either on their platform, or you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. You can tell Alexa, play the Detroit Koolaid Cast. She'll just fire it right up, no doubt about it. And go check out Believe in Lions, BLEAV in Lions. It's Grifka's favorite show other than this one because he's on it and he loves hearing himself. But other than that, you got to check out Believe in Lions with Benny Blades, talking about that talking about the Lions, talking about his love for the Lions, me and him mixing it up. I mean, got to go check that show out. So Grifka, we got all that in. You stirred me up a little bit, and then you got me talking about draft and free agency. Here we are on the back of a Friday show. What else we got today?
Okay. Kind of coinciding with the draft and the free agency and how we had mentioned before what limited cap space the Lions have. I think it's roughly like $10 million, something like that. Now, we've talked about it. I know we haven't done our dollars and cents and done a whole lot of deep digging, but just wondering, just off the top of your head, are there any possible cap casualties that you can think of on this team that can maybe get the Lions a few more bucks to maybe go sign a few of those guys you had mentioned, prior to the break?
I almost blurted out like 5 names, but I couldn't pick which name I wanted to blurt out. So, I mean, yeah, there's a litany of people that need to get off this team. I mean, where do you want me to start? Hal Vaitai, Jesse James, Jamie Collins, True Font. Let's get rid of Deron Harmon. I mean, yeah, all these guys got to go. Like, they all showed they can't play. They were made for a different system. I don't care anymore, Griffin. I'm so sick of hearing, like, I had all these high hopes for Deron Harmon. Oh man, he's our next Glover Quinn. He's great in the locker room, at the podium, and he makes plays on the football. All I saw last year was a bunch of, we're gonna do better. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And then every week when I turned on Sundays, he was getting blown by a receiver or missing a tackle. Jamie Collins, for every play he made, he missed about 2 other plays. Hal Vaitai, we all saw can't play. Your boy Jesse James, the outlaw Jesse James. I mean, he had to go like the minute the ink dried. We saw he was horrible. He moves like he's stuck in molasses, and he can't make catch. He can't make a play after the catch. He can't do anything unless they sneak him out on a route from the 2-yard line, and then he'll stumble in the end zone maybe. But yeah, I mean, those are names that come off my head. Hey, Grifka, here's a hot take for you. I said it, I believe, on Twitter at Derek Oakley or a couple other places. Let's get Kerryon Johnson out of here. I've seen what I need to see. He doesn't have it anymore. It's probably because of injury, but it's also because of his mentality. I don't care if you can block on 3rd and long. You gots to go, because I need that roster spot, and I know that you're never going to be anything that I hoped, so I'm just going to move on now. Kerryon can go. Let's see, who else am I missing, Grifka? I mean, I don't think Okwara is going to be back, but I would love it if they could figure that out. Me and Benny Blades might talk about a couple replacements from the U on Thursday's Believe in Lions show that could replace Okwara. But I mean, I don't know. Anybody else jump out that I'm missing? But there's so many people that have to go, but they probably won't because their contracts are too big of issues, and you got to have bodies. So I think you're going to see a good portion of this team back, but I also think you're going to see Brad Holmes mix it up. I'm praying, hoping, and wanting him to make a couple big swings. I mean, has it been since the inception of this podcast where I sit here and go, all right, Bob Quinn, now's the time. Go make a big move. Get this team over the hump. And he just sat on there in his freaking ass and didn't do anything. So, Brad Holmes, let's make a move that gets people talking. Let's make a move that makes sense financially. Let's make a move to get some blue chip talent on this team instead of these try-hard scheme guys that we all know can't play now. So lots of people gots to go. We've said that multiple times.
Yeah. Just a quick piggyback on that.
Hold on.
Listening to your
Hold on here. He caught me napping. There we go.
There we go. Listen to your last week's Believe in Lions podcast with Benny Blades, and Benny was talking about the Zoom call they had with Chris Spielman or something like that, and how he mentioned, or even Chris Spielman mentioned at some point that they were going to do the full evaluation of the team, and sometimes fan favorites may have to be cut. Would is there anybody on this team that you consider like, gosh, guys, great? After the evaluation done by the new regime, would you be really sad to say, like, how could they let him go? What were they thinking? Is there anybody, like, I know we name off those guys, thousands of times, the guys that just like, this guy's terrible. But out of the people you didn't name, is there anybody that you could see that happening to?
Grifka, as I often do after your questions, I must take a side tangent on a couple other things. First of all, how was Benny Blades doing on that Thursday BLEAV and Lions show when I asked him? I'm just curious.
Oh, gosh. He must have been doing wonderful.
Doing wonderful. Always Benny Blades. Let me ask you this, Griff. I can tell you actually listen to that podcast, whereas like sometimes I entrust you with the job of listening to this podcast to make sure I didn't miss an edit, maybe something's not wrong, and you always just tell me it's good, it's great, and I know you never listen. You just lie to me, and because you don't want to put in the work of hearing the show. But I can tell you didn't do that with Believe in Lions because it's a very astute comment you made. Benny Blades said that Chris Spielman said some fan favorites might have to go. Nobody else has brought this to my attention or asked me about it, and I meant to bring it up on Wednesday's show with Logan. Grifka, when you hear the comment, some fan favorites, some people the Lions fans know and like and have been here a while might have to go. I wonder who that could be. Could it be the quarterback from Georgia, number 9? Everyone loves, he makes plays, probably the best player on our team. Could that be who Mr. Spielman was slyly referencing just to get people ready for the fact of what could be ahead? I don't know, but that's the fan favorite I thought of when he said that. But he didn't really say it, but he kind of said it, but he didn't really say it. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Benny Blades might have tipped us off to something Mr. Spielman said that Mr. Spielman couldn't really say, but he let you know ahead of time that somebody might have to go that most people aren't going to like to go. And the number one name is the signal caller, which again, Grifka, I got multiple jerseys in the closet. I've shown you some of the classic Staffords I have, as well as I'm not here to bash the guy, but I am here to try to move an asset and try to reshape this team. And I think it's that time because I kind of know what I got. Good player, good guy off the field, not a game changer, not elite. I'm sorry, people. It's true. and we're trying to win Super Bowls, so that's the name that came to mind. But I think Benny sort of hinted at, too, that he was thinking maybe it's, the Marvin Joneses of the world. Like, yeah, everybody loves Marvin Jones. He's been great, but he showed no inclination whatsoever about wanting to return to the Lions. I mean, he's going to basically go to the team with the best paycheck and where he can get the football. And I don't know. I can't really think of any other big names that would be able to be moved that would be fan favorites that people would really be up in arms about. But the fact that Spielman said that, now I want to see some action. I don't want to hear you say that and then go trade, some guy that nobody cares about and be like, we had to make a tough decision. It's like, that's not a tough decision. That guy stinks. Get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like, you want to make a tough decision. Send somebody out with a big old contract and that could still play football and that the fans like, and then step up to the podium and say, this is for the best organization. Like, this is going to help us down the road. This is the best thing for the team. And I'll be excited about that. So I don't know who it's going to be, but I want to see them follow through on something like that instead of just say it and then keep the same guys around that they like or the fans like or that are good right now. Because it's not always about who's our best player right now. It's about who's our best player compared to other teams. Who's the most valuable in trades. Who's somebody that it's hard to move, but you need to move to help you the next 5-10 years. That's gonna be the kind of decisions that not really a Spielman, but a Brad Holmes and company and the head coach are gonna have to make, and I hope they do.
I mean, it could also mean that the not of the re-signing of Kenny Golladay. Considering what Kenny's asking for, they have to evaluate it. And there's a lot of people. I mean, at some point, we were going back and forth. Yeah, give him the money. No, don't give him the money. Yeah, give him the money. No, don't give him the money. Could be that as well. So
where are you at with that right now, Grifsky? I mean, have you waffled back and forth a little bit on it? I'm just curious. Are you still not for sure what to do with Kenny?
No, at this point, I'm like, I'm ready to show him the door. I mean, that's kind of it's like, yeah, there you go. From what that contract demand that he was looking, and like he all of a sudden like, oh, the Giants would be great. Fine. Go to Danny Dimes or Donnie Dimes or Daniel Dimes or whatever you want to call him, and another one of the Patriots, coaches, and all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, he's a good coach. Yeah, because that team was almost at the playoffs with 6 wins. So yeah, he's obviously an amazing coach himself. So, but yeah. See you later, Kenny. It was nice knowing you.
Hey Grifka, before you get your next one, how about this? In an amazing sign and trade, the Detroit Lions signed Kenny Golladay and trade him to the Los Angeles Rams. A team that loves wide receivers and could use another young, skilled, big guy. I mean, just drum up the music. There's so many of these, and like you say, I know we hinted about don't go sign all the Rams, but hey, if they want to give away draft picks, we got a couple players, number 9 and number 19, that might fit the bill. So there's another one for you people. I think we're setting a record for conspiracy theories here on the show today.
Yeah, really, man. The FBI is gonna be knocking at your front door and my front door, wondering what we have going on. So
I blame you, like I do for most things on the show.
Okay, that's fine. Let's do this. The playoffs are going on, and like you mentioned, there's a couple good games this weekend. I've thought they've been some good games. We haven't had a chance to talk about them. Buffalo's at Kansas City, Tampa Bay's at Green Bay. I was watching Colin Cowherd earlier this week, and one thing you kind of mentioned to me with Pat Mahomes, it's just like the concussion protocol. He's like calling for, it's like, oh, if Mahomes can't play Sunday, just move the game to Monday. It's not like you're not going to watch. And then the final line he said just cracked me up. He goes, Buffalo, if you made the Super Bowl, by beating Kansas City, that would kind of be like a hollow victory and you'd feel it. And I'm like sitting here going, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, that's like so dumb. It's just like, oh no, Pat Mahomes can't play. Kansas City, you go in our place. It's like, what kind of crap is that? Nobody's going to remember that junk. I mean, that's like the dumbest thing in the world I've ever heard. It's just like, well, let's put this game off until Pat Mahomes can play. And that just leads me to believe, once again, that, hey, guys get calls and teams get calls and Pat Mahomes going, So anyways, what have you thought about, the playoffs so far? Have you liked the games, or have there been kind of some stinkers out there, but still good games? And out of the 4 teams left, what would you love to see the matchup be in Super Bowl? Not looking for like a finals prediction, but what out of those 4 teams, what game would you like to see?
Grifka, we got to take a side detour. Who said all that you just went on that rant about?
Colin Cowherd.
Oh, Colin Cowherd. Like, I think I have a soundbite for Colin Cowherd, Grifka, like based on what he said and just him as a human being. You want to hear it?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Colin Cowherd, that stuff you said about Pat Mahomes or somebody getting a hollow travel or a path to the Super Bowl, this is for you.
It was a bad decision. Period, point blank. It was one of the dumbest decisions I ever made.
Get out of here with that, man. You got to find another station to watch, Grifka. You got to get off Colin Cowherd stuff and the Lions 24/7. Get some real websites and whatnot going on. Oh, my goodness. All right, back to your question. Who do I want to see?
Have you liked the playoffs as well? Have you thought they've been, good games that you like to see in the playoffs as well?
These are slam dunk questions. I've watched the Detroit Lions for the last 2 years. I've sat here and tried to figure out, try to excuse away some of the worst football I've seen in my lifetime as a human being. Of course I've liked the playoff games, close games, good football for the most part. Do I like watching Green Bay? Hell no. But do I love watching Mahomes slinging around, Tom Brady? We got we got some of the top seeds. Buffalo, as much as I've always not liked Buffalo, I'm starting to really like their team. I'm liking Josh Allen, the swagger that Diggs has brought, the way they've drafted and put talented players all over the football field. So, yeah, man, it's been great. And who am I rooting for? I mean, since day one, when my team's out of it, like I said, I wanted to see some good, hard-nosed, fun football to watch. I got that. And then when it all comes down to it, doesn't matter what sport it is, I'm rooting for the big names. I'm rooting for the big teams. I want the biggest matchups under the brightest lights with the most swag, the most interest. And so from day one, Grifsky, it was Tom Brady against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl in Tampa. That's TB in TB for the SB. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
You know how it is. That's what I want. That's what I wanted since day one. That would be box office. That would be big. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. And like you say, Colin Cowherd. I mean, could you imagine if he said that the Lions hadn't been to the Super Bowl and gosh knows how long? And he's like, well, they got there because this guy was out. So are you kidding me? We freaking got there. We don't care how we got out there. The only things with the Buffalo Bills, you might want to stop trying to win silver medals and maybe pick up a gold one of these days, because we all know you've been there and every year you come up short. I think Benny Blades told me that one time. You came up short. And you need to cash one in there, Allen, Diggs, all the other ball players they got on defense. So I wouldn't mind seeing Buffalo. They're a good story, but give me Give me Pat Mahomes. Give me the GOAT, Tom Brady, in the Super Bowl, in his home stadium. Finally be fans back in the building. Oh, my goodness. I would tune in. I'd have the popcorn ready. I'd have the grill going. That would be a good day because, Grifka, we've watched some horrible football the past couple of years, so that would be tremendous. I really hope it happens. All those skilled players
I would love
everywhere.
to see.
Oh, my.
I would love to see Buffalo versus Tampa Bay, just so Tom Brady can beat Buffalo one more time, and it's not in a Patriots uniform. There was during the season, when he played, they'd go to Buffalo and they'd beat him every once in a while. It happened, but Tom Brady tended to have the better part of that rivalry right there. So just to have him beat Buffalo one more time in a non-Patriots uniform would be cool to see.
I'm trying to think who they lost to. It's crazy. They went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost them all. Grifka, what would you rather have? 4 Super Bowls in a row and lose in heartbreaking fashion, or never be there like the Lions have never been there?
4 Super Bowls in a row and lose. That one's easy.
I don't think so, because Benny Blades told me, which I agree. He said, "Big deal. You got second place. You didn't win." I think I said it on the show with me and him. I got this guy in my fantasy league. He's throwing a party down Main Street because he finished second in our league. I said, "Wow, congratulations. You're the number 1 loser. Nobody lost ahead of you." I mean, you might as well throw the ticker tape parade. You're the greatest non-winner that we got. So it's like, I don't want to be that. I think I'd rather be at the bottom of the barrel or be struggling than get there and fall just short. So I don't know. It's a dilemma, a conundrum, a quagmire, you might say. But give me the freaking, get to the Super Bowl and win it. But give me Brady and Mahomes and Hill and Godwin and Evans and gosh, who else we got? Leonard Fournette. Give me Kelsey. Give me all those players, and let's roll. Let's have ourselves a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that would be a great game as well. Anything but the Packers, just so I wouldn't have to see that porn stash wearing smug smile.
He is smugger than smug nowadays, Grifke. He just thinks everything's going right. I hope Tom Brady goes up there in that aqua suit that he always wears under his jersey when it's cold and just beats the bejesus out of the Green Bay Packers, that smug number 12, and just rips it away from them. I'm so sick of that team. Gosh almighty. Yeah. That's what everybody that has a pulse should be doing, is just rooting for that not to happen. Nobody wants to see the Packers do anything.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I mean, it's going to be in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. Maybe not like freezing cold, but, if Aaron Rodgers was accidentally, on the ground and somebody accidentally was taking a step backward and accidentally stepped on his ankle, I would understand. So I'm okay with that.
That'd be such a shame if something like that happened to
exactly.
A guy like
exactly.
That. We just hate to say it.
Okay.
Go Tampa Bay.
That's it. Well, that's all I got, Derek. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Grifka, we're good, man. I thought we had a great show on Wednesday with Logan. We kind of got all over the map. Pretty long show. I think we've had some fun here today. I've stirred it up. I try to entertain the people. A lot of people, you got to know that I'm always trying to serve up that Detroit Kool-Aid, always, every day.
Drink it in, man.
But here on the podcast, I may say some things to try to make you laugh. I may try to just go over the top for the sake of it. We love to just straight up talk football. We're going to have some draft shows, some free agent shows, diving in with some different people popping in the show. We're going to have lots coming up here. But just know that we're trying to entertain you. We're trying to have fun. We love all the Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers, all the Lions fans, all the people that wake up every morning and say, you know what I could use this morning? A little bit of this.
Cornbread!
We try to serve it up with a glass of Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid. Grifka, you shouldn't be asking me if I got anything else, because the people know how we end the shows. It's simply this. Grifka, think really hard. Make sure that you're certain. I don't want you to be not for sure. Do you have anything else for the people?
Nope.
Everybody, It's been another good week. Lots going on with the Lions. Life is crazy. We continue to hope it gets back. We appreciate you guys listening so much. The show's been jumping. Go check out Believe in Lions with Benny Blades. Go check out Logan Lamb and Randier's stuff. You can find Grifka at GrifkaDKC on Twitter. And you can find me at Derek Oakrey. But we'll be talking football all year long. So everybody drink that Detroit Kool-Aid. Take care, everybody. We're out.
Drink it in, man.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.